Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm here just to talk about The Elder Scrolls 6, have a bit of a ramble, talk about what I think will be in the game, what I'd like to be in the game, and stuff that could return from previous Elder Scrolls games, as well as stuff that could come from Starfield and Fallout. Don't get too scared when I say that. But yeah, basically I had a really good reception on the last Elder Scrolls video I did, so I figured I'd do another video just for the people that asked for it before I make videos about other things I don't like Dying Light, Stargate, which has recently had a new series announced, and anything else that I can think of while I'm bored at work. Something that surprised me about the last video before I get onto it was how kind everyone was, and I was blown away by the fact that Angelica Tosh, who I am a huge fan of, commented on my video. The fact that she clicked on it and seems that she watched it based on her comment just blows me away, because not only does she make like regular videos about the Elder Scrolls and about topics that no one discusses, like the clothing and the fact that there's no paintings in Skyrim, and just what she thinks about it. Her video about playing vanilla is literally me. I used to mod the game all the time, but now I just enjoy vanilla Skyrim, and it's my favourite way to play. So yeah, thanks Angelica for that, I really appreciate it. And yeah, it just blew me away. So anyway, on to Elder Scrolls 6. I think we can all guess that it will be set in Hammerfell, and that obviously Hammerfell has African and Middle Eastern and even some Japanese kind of lore and vibes to it. All three of which are cool as hell, and I think it'd be really awesome if maybe not the main story, because I know the main story likes to do like the world ending stuff, but it could be the main story, especially if it's to do with the Adamantine Tower in Hammerfell. Could be to do with the Thalmor Crusades. Now, I'm saying that as if it's a thing that exists, but basically the idea is that, taking inspiration from the real life Crusades, it'd be really cool if the Thalmor basically come and try to take this, I guess, Holy Land, Kingdom of Heaven style in the Elder Scrolls 6, and that could be like the main plot and the main worry that people, you know, have to deal with. I don't think it'll be a choice of to side with the Thalmor or to side with the Crowns and Forebears. It could be a choice between the Crowns and Forebears, but I'm pretty sure that they do mention that they've kind of made an alliance. Maybe it could also be between the Red Guards and the Orcs in Orsinium. But it'd just be interesting because you've got all these powers fighting to, you know, take over or defend or whatever the Adamantine Tower, and I would really love it just if it kind of went into those kind of like brutal battle kind of routes, especially because the Elder Scrolls game is more of a fantasy action game with role-playing elements. I don't need to make a million choices like Baldur's Gate. I just like having my character, creating a backstory, and building a class. I really enjoy building a class and, like, you know, making my guy. And then just playing in the world, and even if it is limited options, I don't need loads of options. I can just choose to not do certain quests. Even better yet, it'd be kind of cool if some quests were locked out by your choices through the game as well. Like if you were to join one mage's guild, maybe you couldn't join another necromancer guild or some crap like that. But I think people talk about the guilds and stuff to death. I'd be surprised if the Dark Brotherhood weren't in it. But other than that, I think they'll probably come up with a lot of new guild ideas, as cool as it would be to bring back some of the Imperial stuff with the classic Fighters Guild and the classic Mages Guild, stuff like that. I want choice of like where to send your character more than like the stories that they fulfill. I'm not too bothered about that. Like I say, it's not Baldur's Gate. But yeah, that kind of reminds me of one of my favourite mods for Skyrim, that if I was to have one mod and the rest of my Skyrim game being vanilla, it would be the one that lets you take notes. I believe it is called Take Notes, but I know there's been a few note-taking mods in Skyrim, so whatever's currently working, I wouldn't know, because like I said, I play vanilla. That would be really awesome. Or if they could just implement that into Elder Scrolls 6 with like, you know, a notebook where you can write down what your character's doing, like why they're doing it, their character's inner thoughts and stuff like that. Because that helps you if you're busy and you have a life like me outside of games and you just want to jump in every few weeks maybe because you've got a few other games to play and you've got occasions to go to with friends and family, which I maybe don't. But anyway, yeah, just be nice to take notes so you can just jump back into the game whenever you want without having to worry too much about it. Speaking of guilds like the Mages Guild and what they can do, bringing back something like flying would be amazing. Being able to high jump like in Oblivion, and that would be good for thieves and assassins too, being able to be really agile, getting really vertical levels. I think not only is that possible, I think it's extremely likely to happen because of the jetpacks we've had in Starfield. In fact, I think a lot of the magic that's in Starfield, and when I say magic I mean not only the starborn powers but the tools and weapons, can be easily converted into spells and abilities in the Elder Scrolls. I also think because of the fantastical nature of the Elder Scrolls, you could 100% have abilities that lap over spells, and obviously like magic is extremely overpowered later in the game. In Oblivion, I mean, it's pretty overpowered early game too, but if we're just talking later in the game, it's great. It's probably the best way to play, but if you want a powerful build. And I kind of wouldn't mind that being the same in Elder Scrolls 6 to be honest, but I will say, I think spell making, if it's in the game, which I'm not too bothered if it is actually, I think if they do implement it, it should be extremely difficult to get into. You shouldn't just have to join the Mages Guild and everything, you should also have to go through loads of extra hoops to unlock it, kind of like in the Staff Enchanting in Dragonborn. And I think it should just be a high effort thing to achieve, because like if you're running around at level 10 because you've just like, you know, got a ring or something from a well and done a few things like that for people, I don't think that gives you the right to have like the best, most overpowered spells and stuff in the game. I think you should really have to work to create spells. But yeah, I think flying should definitely come back. Like buffing attributes for yourself and others, that'd be really cool. Climbing should come back, that was from Daggerfall. And they could really work on like the level design if they did a lot of that sort of stuff. This is all very wishful thinking. For all I know, it's just going to be another Skyrim 2, which I also kind of wouldn't hate if it's just Skyrim with better graphics, because I have a bad habit of just getting the newest Skyrim edition, and I think a lot of us do, although I'll be a bit more skeptical of that after the new Fallout 4 anniversary update. Not that I want them to add settlement building into Elder Scrolls 6, but I've got a feeling it will be in there. And I'm kind of hoping it won't be shipbuilding like in Starfield, except with a boat, which a lot of people are talking about. I'm not super excited for them to add naval warfare and boats and stuff into Elder Scrolls 6, but that might happen too. But let's get back to settlement building. If they had castle building and town building, stuff like that, that would be kind of cool. But I'd want you to have three options. Fully automatic, where the NPCs just build like default bases and bunkers based on the location that you're at, because it should be set locations and not just, you know, drop a helmet on a square and then you can build anywhere. Didn't mean for that to rhyme. But yeah, it should be set locations. You could have them have pre-built like bases that the NPCs will just build over time, as long as you put in money and resources into it. The other option would be ghost building, where you build like the outline of what you want your settlement to look like and be like, and it would be like ghost walls and floors and stuff until you bring in all the materials again and the money that you could need. And then finally it would all be manual, where you would give yourself all the manual resources and stuff, and you would literally go place it like in Fallout 4. I think you should have options. To be honest, for me, the actual ideal would just be Hearthfire, but with different aesthetic options and better menus. So you just like have Like you could have an alchemy tower or a wizard's tower or whatever, and then among those you could have like the dark wizard, or you could have fairy princess, and you know, and that could fit, and maybe even Argonian themed, and you know, it'd have roots coming out the walls and stuff like that. For me, that's pretty simple. Or even a guild theme, like, oh, you want it to be like a Dark Brotherhood themed wizard's tower, stuff like that. That could be pretty cool. To be honest, there's not really a lot that I do want from the Elder Scrolls 6. I just kind of want it to come out, but when I'm 7,000 years old and Skyrim 10 billion has released, maybe we'll look back on these days and laugh when we're talking about playing Elder Scrolls 6. But for now, I've got hope, and to be honest, things like Fallout and Starfield give me hope, because as bad as reception as a lot of those games got and still receive now from the new updates, there are certain things that do improve each game, and I genuinely think the Starfield gameplay is really good. You can slide, you can run, the shooting's pretty good. It's just the story. No one's ever said that the Elder Scrolls have the most in-depth stories, but it's got to have effort put into it, and I think it's really important that the team, who obviously, it's not like they don't care, like they're putting their lives into this. That'd be pretty sucky if you to put all your time into this game and not care about it. I just think they should think about what the fans want, and they should think about what, you know, the original teams would have wanted when they were on board, and you know, and a lot of those workers are probably still there, you know, so maybe they should look into the past and take bits to bring into the future and decide what to leave behind too. But anyway, thanks for listening to my ramble. Please look after yourself. Just stay safe and have a good one. Thanks.